Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 75 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Man, who loves getting a new cell phone? Not me. Most of y'all know I record my podcast in the car. However, the new cell phones don't have a headset jack. What is up with that? So I had to buy a dongle. And also, who thought of that word? Dongle? That sounds like a name you call someone. Leave me alone, you dongle. Anyway, I bought one, and of course, as I am prone to do, I promptly lost it. Either that or a cat ran off with it. Anyway, if the sound quality is a bit different this time around, that may be why. Apparently, I'm going to have to order dongles by the gross. Alrighty, let's talk about a real quick something. I had a conversation yesterday, and I was telling a person I was in a session, human design session, thatmichellewolf.com/human design. We were talking about trying to figure out what to do. Like, often people will come to me and say they know they want to do something, but they're not sure what to do at all, or they have a couple of options and they can't decide. Yesterday I was saying, does that light you up? Or what breaks your heart? Okay, so I think what has happened is we ask that question a lot as coaches and therapists. Does that light you up? Do what lights you up. Do what lights your body up. And I think we've maybe misinterpreted that to mean do what lights you up in it has to be a happy feeling that lights you up. But what about if it's self-righteous? Not self-righteous. I mean, what if it's righteous anger? What if it's a topic that lights you up, air quotes, but it's an anger, a clean, righteous anger. We could even call it a reaction to injustice. Like you hear something and all of a sudden you turn into a member of the Justice League and you are ready to get in motion and go fix the wrong thing. Okay, that's a light you up, but not in the way we've been thinking about it. So I wonder if we should instead think of it as what activates you. What topic, what population, what issue activates you? So if we think in terms of emotions are just energy and that we don't even need to put a label on them except to communicate, activated energy is powerful. It's your soapbox issue. It's the thing, well, if we could just change, if somebody would just take care of, the thing that gets you activated enough to start hollering about it, maybe that's what you should be pursuing next. I used to say, actually I think it still says in my bio, I like to get riled up and write about things. I typically won't write a blog post unless I've seen or heard something that gets me riled up. Okay, it activates my energy. When I write from that place, those blog posts and even these podcasts get a lot more downloads and a lot more traction because I'm writing from a place of full alignment. I'm activated. I'm doing what lights me up. But I wouldn't say in those moments that I'm lit up in a happy, this is the greatest thing ever and I can't wait to write about it. It's more often a, what in the ever-loving fuck is going on around here, and how come nobody's talking about it, or how come this is still a thing? Why is it still a thing? We don't have health insurance. Why is it still a thing that human trafficking is still so rampant? Why is it still a thing that people who take care of community cats have to fight so hard? I have, if you don't know, a number of soapbox issues that I can get good and riled up about. Okay, those are the issues that are important to me. Which issues are important to you? If you are adrift, if you feel unmoored, you've lost your job, or you're about to retire, you've gone through a life transition, a death, a divorce, although divorce is a kind of a death anyway, but you know what I mean? The kid, you're empty nesting, or you just had kids, now you don't know what to do. Take a cruise around the internet, or go to Barnes and Noble and peruse the magazine section or the best-selling nonfiction section. See what lights up. See what lights you up. See which topics grab you and piss you off in a clean way. And what I mean is there's destructive anger and there's righteous anger. Righteous anger at the core is rooted, to me, in my opinion, in the theme of injustice. What you've seen is unjust. It is offensive to your sense of human rights, just practices, justice. Okay, it might be different topics. Like, justice is a theme in my life. It always has been. It's a life theme. Justice matters to me. The form and the population and the topic doesn't matter so much. It's the justice part that matters. So when I was working as a sex assault response team coordinator, people thought I was a social advocate or an advocate for sexual assault victims. And yes, but also it's more about the justice. Sex assault victims in our country very rarely get justice. Harvey whatever, I don't even want to say his name out loud, who was sentenced to 23 years in prison today, is an outlier and an anomaly that needs to become much more common. That kind of sentencing, that needs to be the norm. But I am an advocate for justice. I'm an advocate for tiny house communities to get homeless people off the streets. It's cost effective. It's safe. It's smart. And why every city in the country isn't doing it, I don't know. Wisconsin's a great example if that's a thing and you want to look into it. I know it's happening more and more, but Wisconsin, I think, was a front runner. It's unjust that we have that problem, that homeless people have no safe place to stay. That's ridiculous. It's that kind of stuff. What social doesn't even have to be social, but what breaks your heart? Do children in foster care make you want to shout the house down? What is that about? Does that get you riled up? Does housing get you riled up? Does, human trafficking, whatever it is. These are the subjects that come to my mind because that's what I'm into. But social issues can get me riled up. But what is it for you? Maybe it's not enough women in the STEM jobs. Not enough women being encouraged to go to school for engineering. Whatever it is for you. So think less in terms of this must be my path because it lights me up in a happy, excited way. And consider what lights you up in a I can't believe this is still happening and somebody ought to fix this kind of way. Think in more in terms of what activates me, what gets my ass up off the couch and makes me want to pick up a sign and go march in downtown Atlanta. What motivates you that much? And then follow that breadcrumb follow that stutter. Follow that breadcrumb trail. It might not be that particular topic, but that might be the thing that gets you in motion, that then will get you over to where you need to be. Now, if this is your situation and you want a shortcut, you can get a Human Design Foundations reading on my website, thatmichellewolf.com/human design, because I can look at your chart and tell you the areas that might be tripping you up if you can't figure out what you want to do. Or if you have a billion ideas about what to do, but you can't get in your body enough to land on one long enough to build a business or write a book or whatever your project is. So think about that. If you are adrift, if you are unmoored, you can't find something to motivate you, to activate you, go wander the bookstore, get on the Google, go twirl around Twitter, surf around on Facebook, ask your team Invisible to give you a hit, to light things up for you, to catch your attention, so you can see what is riling you up, what will get you moving. Sometimes, actually this happens fairly often, we know what that topic is, but we're afraid to take action on it because of what, Grandma Edna will have to say about it. Or what our dad will say, or what our partner will say. We might have a red hot passion to get involved and do something about human trafficking, but because we've never spoken it out loud, we're afraid of what people are going to say. If you are someone who gets psychic impressions that are always turning out to be correct about your friends and family, it can be a scary thing for you to branch out and start speaking that out loud. So, you get riled up about people picking on woo-woo people, or people saying snarky things about being an empath. It can take some playing around with concepts and words, but it certainly is possible. And then once you find it, you have to explore, okay, now what? What do I do now? I've discovered I have a passion for the housing problem in our country. Now what? Well, using this example, you can Google housing in your community. If you decide that you want to be an advocate for empaths, you can Google empath. Maybe you're an empath that's had it up to here with being told that you're too sensitive, and it gets you riled up, and you're like, damn it, this needs to stop. Okay, so then you Google empaths. What's happening out there with empaths? Who's teaching empaths how to live in this world and be very, very powerful instead of feeling beat down and exhausted and potentially overweight all the time because you don't know what to do with your empath energy. You don't know how to navigate the world the way it is when you have that ability. In human design, if you have a big bunch of white space on your chart, that's pretty indicative of being an empath. There are some skills you need that are easy to learn and easy to implement that mean you get to be an empath in the world and be an unstoppable force, not someone at the mercy of the collective's turmoil. You get to have control over that. Okay, I hope this is making sense. kind of a short podcast today, but I just really felt like it was important to get it out there. Let's expand our definition of what lights you up and change it. Just play with it and think of it in terms of what gets me activated. What activates me? What creates in me a surge of energy? And don't worry about labeling that energy mad or excited or nervous or scared. Don't label it anything at all. Just what creates an immediate, physical, visceral response in you related to the topic that you're looking at. That is a huge place, a rich, complex place for you to start asking a lot of questions. How come this triggered a huge emotional activation? How come this triggered a big energy surge through my body? Why? What is this? And as you ask those questions, the answers will come. I promise. You keep asking questions, you're going to get answers. You might not recognize them right away, but you're going to get them. You're going to get it. You ask a question, you're going to get an answer. Okay, so if you want to check out Human Design for that, to have a shortcut through that process, thatmichellewolf.com/human design. Scroll down, look for a Human Design Foundation session. Get yourself on my calendar and let's get started. In the meantime, think less, feel more. Wish me luck in finding my dang old dongle. Talk to you later.